Hello, America, and the world if you're out around there somewhere. Thank you for joining me today on the Private Investigator Experience podcast. I'm your host, Phil Little. And today I have a short post on some current events that could be happening that could affect us here at home in the U.S. I use my military, law enforcement, intelligence, and global security background as we search for solutions for our clients at West Coast Detectives, a 102-year-old global security firm. Then I just add a touch of my biblical worldview to find the right solution for each client that we have. Now, at the end of this short post, stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing about a new opportunity that you could get involved in. I think you'll like it. Today's news. Iran has posted that if Israel hits their nuclear, oil, or infrastructure, they are going to send missiles into Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, UAE. So, will they do that? What's the possibility that they might do that? Is this blustery talk like more of what they've been doing? So if Israel was my client and asked me to do a risk assessment, which we have from our corporate and government clients, on the possibility of Iran following through on that threat, well, I would start by analyzing the past. Iran has threatened to do major strikes on Israel, and in the two they've tried, they haven't worked out so well. They've been pretty unsuccessful. One, because of Israel's sophistication and other countries helping shoot them down. But also, it shows the lack of sophistication on their part militarily as well as with their missiles. So they're usually willing to let their proxies take the hits. They'll pat them on the back, send them some more money. They also depend on their ally in Washington, President Biden, who has told Israel he will not support them if they hit at the nuclear facilities. And how can you figure that out? They're threatened, and they will do it if they get a nuclear capability to strike at Israel. And then they'll strike at their neighbors. They'll strike at us. They want to change the world. So why wouldn't we take an opportunity to take that threat away? Well, I don't totally understand that political situation going on in our country and the amount of money that we have released after Trump had put on all kinds of restrictions and stopped the money flow. Well, it's been flowing for the last 3.5 years. That's why we see the invasion into southern Israel by Hamas, and we see the ongoing onslaught by Hezbollah in the north. Fortunately, they've had a setback there. But so when I look at this, I don't see the likelihood of Iran following through on a threat that might start a war with their neighbors who have very sophisticated Western American weapons. And the fact that that might force the U.S. to get involved also against them. My guess is, my educated guess, let's put it that way, is that this is more talk, and they wouldn't take that risk to reap a major onslaught of missiles coming into their own country. So I say to Israel, go for it. It's time to hit them and make them pay the price for all the damage they've done to Israel, to other countries, and the Americans that have been killed, the Europeans, and around the world have been killed because of the attacks by the Iranian proxies. So let those planes go and let the chips fall where they may, because I think we'll be able to handle it. For those who follow Bible prophecy and the Ezekiel 38 war, where it talks about Iran, Russia, Turkey, and 3 or 4 other small countries coming together to strike Israel. Now, we can see the stage being set when Iran comes to the conclusion that they can't alone defeat Israel. So the next best thing for them is to join forces with other countries. You might ask, can this really happen? I believe, looking at history, it's not if, but it's when it will happen. So far, all the prophecies in the Bible have come to pass. I don't think God's gotten tired or gone to sleep on this one. I mentioned my desire to try and expose my viewers and listeners to step out of the crowd and become an investigator in their own communities, as well as the world, searching out what is going on around them. I'm not asking you to accept anyone else's facts, including mine, but to find out for yourselves. Every one of you have the ability to be an investigator. Yes, you do. I have trained hundreds and hundreds of investigators, men and women, and I find that in 99% of the people, there's traits there that will help them be an investigator. Now, in the police world, they have reserve police officers. Every police department has those, and they help augment the work of the police by having these reserve volunteers that come on board and help in critical situations as well as just normal patrols. So I want to create a group of reserve investigators attached to West Coast Detectives so we can become a force that will bring change for the better starting in your local community. Think what could happen if we had reserve investigators working to find out the facts and reporting on them, gathering the community together to stand up against this woke ideology and the lack of enforcement of laws, letting criminals out of jail and not having bail, just letting them go free. Just think about what could happen. Well, if you will take on that responsibility and become one of the reserves, I'm going to send you an ID card. You're going to become part of the West Coast Detectives. This is the same ID card that I carry and that anyone working with us carries. And it's going to identify you as being one of our reserve forces working to help keep your community safe. Now, you say, what can I do? How can this work? Well, start by using your fingers on your computer on some search engines. Search for school board issues in your local community. Start there. Your town, your county, your city. And look for what's going on in crime. Is there a lot of crime, and why is it happening? Do they have no cash bail where they're releasing people from jail? Are prosecutors not prosecuting a lot of the cases, just letting them go free? Is there a past? They just look the other way when people are shoplifting and raiding these stores. Then do a search on your school board. What's happening in your schools? I guarantee you, so many people I talk to don't have any clue about what the schools are teaching in their area. So find out, are they teaching CRT, critical race theory, gender change for children, etc.? Are they taking away the control of parents and trying to have the schools and the government take charge of what is taught to your children and what they can do? Then find those things out and let your voice be heard. Get involved. If necessary, run for the school board. Go testify at your local board and communities. Get your neighbors and friends to go. You will make a difference. Then let me know that you've started, and I will forward you your ID card and more information. And so let's join together and make a difference. The election is close, and if you are not registered to vote, register to vote today. I said in one of my other reports, I'm astounded at the number of people that aren't registered to vote. I'm hearing from many who are registered to vote for the first time, and they're older. They're not young people, because they say they fear for what will happen to the country if we don't take back our government on November the 5th and start returning to the principles that our founding fathers had and recovering from this border invasion, inflation, and all of the disaster for the lack of criminal prosecution. So get involved. Become an investigator. Let me know. Become part of our team. I look forward to hearing from you. Will you help me by liking, sharing, subscribing? You know the drill. Hit that notification bell so you'll know about future posts. Please leave any comments on any of the platforms. Questions, ideas, suggestions, whatever you would like. And if you want to join us and become one of our reserve investigators, and you're actively getting involved, send me an email, pi777@gmail.com, and I'll get your credentials out to you. Now, until next time, be safe. May God bless you. May God bless your family. And may God bless America.